Small business owners, you are not the CEO of a corporation. You are a self-employed business owner. Is that statement true? Because if it's true, you need to understand the reality of that statement. If you are a self-employed business owner, or you identify only as a self-employed business owner, it is very likely that your business will not sell. Or if it does sell, it's not going to sell for enough to fund your retirement, which means that all of the wealth that you create has to be generated outside the business. And yet, here's what I see most often. Business owners get to their 50s and 60s. They haven't invested nearly enough outside their business to replicate their income and or their lifestyle. Their business isn't worth very much, all because their entire life they didn't want to be seen as the CEO or as too corporate, or honestly anything that remotely resembles anything close to how a private equity firm would run efficiency-wise inside of a business. They avoided all of that. They identified as a self-employed business owner. And yet they simultaneously expected the 8-figure generational wealth outcome. So they didn't save enough outside their business. Their business isn't an asset. It's not going to sell, or it's going to sell for very little. And yet they expected the 8-figure outcome. It's a complete and utter disconnect. They wanted the big wealth, but they wanted to be identified as a self-employed owner-operator. Here's the reality. You can't have both. I'm not saying you can't create wealth as a self-employed business owner. It just has to be done all outside of the business. You can create nice 7 and even potentially low-end 8-figure net worth by behaving that way. You just can't expect to have this big, massive exit, the 8-figure, the 9-figure exit come your way by being identified as a self-employed owner-operator. So here's a shift that I invite you to make. Stop viewing yourself as a self-employed owner-operator business owner. Start viewing yourself as the CEO of a corporation. Or even better yet, start viewing yourself as the owner investor in your business. Build your business like an asset. Build it for exit. Build it for valuation. Build it so that people, when they see it, they're attracted to buy it from you, and do that from the beginning. And you know what the awesome thing about doing it this way is that you oftentimes will create even more cash flow for yourself, which means you can even build wealth simultaneous to it outside the business and still have your business be an attractive asset that will one day sell for your dream aspirations. When you do it this way, when you build your business as an asset, when you build it as you're the owner investor, you can do both. If you're just a self-employed business owner, you're not going to be able to do both. You can do both, build the wealth outside the business and build the wealth inside the business. But if you choose to do it as an owner-operator, self-employed, you have to build it all outside the business. Honestly, just like a W-2 employee would. Here's the amazing thing about this. There isn't a right or wrong answer here. I'm not inviting everyone to become an owner investor in their business. Is what I'm trying to invite you to is, if you choose to be an owner-operator, self-employed business owner, you have to understand the reality of it, that you have to build wealth outside the business. You have to be disciplined investor outside the business. So how do you choose which one you want to be? Look inwards first. What are your wealth aspirations? How big do you want to go? What type of impact do you want to have? How big generationally do you want to have in the future? And if those aspirations are 8 or 9 figures, your most probable outcome to getting there is to treat your business like an asset and be an owner investor that builds wealth inside and outside the business. And if that's the outcome you want, you have to shed yourself of this I'm a self-employed business owner and start to embrace the reality that you must become an owner investor. I'm Justin D. Maxwell. Until next time, thanks for watching.